here amidst all these luminaries of the spiritual world and the corporate world. आयु और अनुभव दोनों में मैं इन सब विशाल पुण्यात्माओं से बहुत कम हूँ, इसीलिए आलंबन ले रहा हूँ एक दिव्य ज्योति का, a man who defined both the words Swach and Bharat, a living legend that continues to inspire us through his words, his deeds. I'd like to share some of his words today. Swami Vivek. If there is any land on this earth that can lay claim to be the blessed Punya Bhumi, the land where humanity has attained its highest towards gentleness, towards generosity, towards purity, towards calmness, above all, the land of introspection and of spirituality, it is India. The upliftment of women, the awakening of the masses must come first. Now these are things that he said more than 100 years ago. And then only can any good come for the country. All nations have attained greatness by paying proper respect to women. That country and that nation which does not respect women have never become great, nor will ever be in the future. This is the time to decide your future while you possess the energy of youth, not when you are worn out and jaded, but in the freshness and vigor of youth. Work. This is the time for the freshest, the untouched, and the unsmelt flowers alone are to be laid at the feet of the Lord. Young men, arise, awake, for the time is propitious. Be bold and fear not. We have to be fearless, and our task will be done. The whole world has been made by the energy of man and women, by the power of enthusiasm, by the power of faith. My brave boys and girls, nothing else is necessary but these: love, sincerity, and patience. What is life but growth, which is expansion, which is love? Therefore, all love is life. It is the only law of life. All selfishness is death. And this is true here and hereafter. In the world, take always the position of the giver. Help. Give service. Give any little thing you can. Make no conditions, and no one will be imposed. Let us give out of our own bounty, just as God gives to us. Don't look back. Look forward. Infinite energy, infinite enthusiasm, infinite daring, and infinite patience. And then alone can great deeds be done. The practice of meditation leads to mental concentration. The more the power of concentration, the greater the knowledge is acquired. The difference in their power of concentration also constitutes the difference between man and another man. A man ought to live in this world like a lotus leaf, which grows in water, but is never moistened by water. So a man ought to live in this world, his heart to God and his hands to work. I think it was beautifully said. Would you agree with me? So many years ago, maybe not many people know, but my full name is actually Vivek Oberoi. So I was named because my father, my grandfather, great followers, devout followers of Swami Vivekananda and his train of thought and the wisdom that he gave to the world at such a young age. Of course, when I joined movies in 2002, I felt kind of embarrassed. I said, I'm going to be there romancing heroines on screen, dancing around trees. How can I carry a name like Vivekananda? So I kind of dropped the Anand in between and just kept Vivek Oberoi, out of respect for Swami Vivekananda. But now as I grow older and wiser and realize that these things don't really matter so much as what you are within. It's not what you do, it's who you are. When people used to ask me earlier that what do you do? And I used to say, I am an actor. That used to be my response. But as I grew older, I realized that that's not really me. And that's not all I am. That's not what encompasses entirely who I am, what my beliefs are, what my desires are, what my philosophy is. That's just what I do. I'm an actor, such a small part of me. So now I say I'm also an actor. In today's world, Vivek basically means the inner voice. One of the interpretations of Vivek is the inner voice that guides you. And talking of guidance, in today's world, there's something that's very interesting, that people believe more in Google than they believe in God. You probably looking for a path to a destination, you go onto your smartphone and be very smart about it and get onto your GPS, and it would tell you, the voice would keep talking to you, and you just drive there, having a conversation, maybe listening to music, every now and then listening to instructions and getting there. That's how GPS works. But there is a GPS, a technology far superior. And that technology is far older, and it's existed for eons. That GPS is, in my opinion, it's God's perfect spiritual system. GPS. God's perfect spiritual system. GPSS, to be proved. Absolutely right. Now, this is a system that works everywhere, absolutely free. It's with you 24/7. कभी ये नहीं कहता कि आप network से बाहर हैं. You're always within his network, and it's always accessible. But I think the problem is that we have forgotten the art of listening. We have forgotten the art of listening to ourselves. We have forgotten the art of hearing that spiritual kindling within that's trying to tell us, that's trying to guide us. We're so outwardly that we've forgotten, how to follow that inner instinct, that inner Vivek that's trying to talk to you all the time and trying to tell you the difference between the right path and the wrong path. The difference between the haves and the have-nots today comes from that. We live in a digital world where we remember to recharge everything, from our mobile phones to our laptops. But we forget to recharge our soul. आत्मा को भी recharge करना पड़ता है. And for this, I think बहन बैठी हैं यहाँ पे. I think Brahma Kumaris are doing such a fabulous job all over the world. We're so proud of you. The kind of depth and spirituality that you've brought, and made it so accessible to the common man, like somebody like me. I've done बिल्कुल, और मैं खुद जुहू के सेंटर में जाकर राजयोग का मेडिटेशन कर चुका हूँ, and say the kind of access to it. I mean, थोड़ा सा इंटिमिडेटिंग लगता है कि यार ये मेडिटेशन, क्या ये मेरी उम्र है मेडिटेशन करने की, कैसे किया जाता है मेडिटेशन, मन नहीं लगता, व्हाट्सएप की घंटी बजती है तो फ़ोन उठा लेते हैं देखने के लिए कि किसका मैसेज आया, शायद अर्जेंट होगा. And it's so funny, the irony of life is that the phones were made for us to control our lives better. And I think now mobile phones control our lives more than we control them. My son is 3 years old. उसका नाम मैंने दिवानवीर रखा है. दिवानवीर loosely translated means the warrior of light, जो अंधेरे को मिटा. And I was greatly inspired. I mean, मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि नाम का कुछ असर बच्चों पर होता है. I'm hoping that my father was right in calling me Vivek. But there's something interesting. I mean, I buy him toys I think most of the people in the audience have children or grandchildren. Am I right? Everybody has grandchildren, everybody has children here. So, हम बच्चों के लिए जब toys लेके जाते हैं, तो when Vivan was younger, when he was about 1 or 2, वो क्या करता था कि toy को निकाल के अलग रख देता था और डब्बे के साथ खेलने लग जाता था. And I used to get quite confused and frustrated कि मैं इसके लिए इतनी खूबसूरत गिफ्ट लाया हूँ, एक खिलौना लाया हूँ, ये खिलौना छोड़कर डब्बे के साथ खेल रहा है. I think if Parampita, if I can refer to the divine, was looking at us upon us as his children, he'd be feeling the same thing right now. He's given us something so beautiful, so divine, which is the soul, the spirit. But we're only playing with the body. हम डब्बे के साथ खेल रहे हैं. डब्बे की दुनिया बना ली हमने. we focus so much on structures, you know, like religion, for example. I mean, without meaning any kind of, without any ill will or any negativity towards any religion. I just feel religion has become such a huge structure, and we've forgotten what it's supposed to do, its purpose. Its purpose is just to, एक आलम्बन है, एक तरीका है, it's a media, it's a route to help you on your journey, a structure that's just helping you, a little push, to get there. I mean, it's like you have a destination, you get into a car. I think religion is like a car, and the destination ultimately is the divine. However you want to approach it, in whichever car you want to sit, whether you want to sit in a Maruti or a Mercedes, it doesn't matter. But what happens to us is we get so caught up in the car itself. Can you imagine if you were supposed to come? I mean, many of you must have driven here today to Trident. Now imagine if instead of getting out of the car and coming here to this function, you drove and you kept driving around the Trident, making chakkars. Now to that, we would all think is very silly. Ye kya baat kar rahe ho aap? Aisa kaun karta hai? But that's what we do in our real lives. That's what we do in our spiritual lives. We get so wrapped up in religion and the structure of religion. कि भाई Tuesday को मैं ये करता हूँ, Wednesday को मैं वो करता हूँ, मंदिर इस दिन जाना चाहिए, भगवान के यहाँ इस दिन जाना चाहिए, या सिर्फ Friday को नमाज पढ़नी चाहिए, या whatever. Structure gets to a point where it controls us and we forget the ultimate destination. I think today जो हमारी सबसे बड़ी problem है, it's a key and core problem.